John, you're still unbeaten. The game's getting harder. Every other team treating it like a cup final now. And the knocks are beginning to be picked up, aren't they?
Well, it's been a very tough week, I suppose. You know, we have had Friday and Monday. Obviously, Friday was the home game, big crowd. Drogheda played very well in the first half. Second half we played very well, and it was an exciting second half, and we sent the crowd home happy, and 4,500 people. And then you go up to Belfield yesterday, beautiful day, sun beaming down, very, very hot, energy sapping day, and a crowd of 400 people, total opposite to the home games. And UCD again fighting for their lives. But look at, we started well, went one up early on, and look, we Dan hit the crossbar and Mark had a header at the back post. We felt the second goal was there for us, and then after 27 minutes we had a man sent off, and it's a different type of game, and we used a lot of energy in the second half holding our shape, trying to stop UCD from creating chances. And I suppose, to be fair, we probably looked like getting the second goal really, but with 10 men on a huge pitch like UCD, it was hard work, and it took us toll. But the lads have all been in this morning in recovery, and we're trying to get our energy levels back up again for Friday night. So next couple of days is about recovery and making sure that we're ready for Friday night.
But you really turn us class into a fortress again, really, haven't you? I mean, 3 wins and 2 draws, or the 5 games at home.
Yeah, and I think the big thing what's fantastic about it is that the crowds have been huge and the atmosphere has been fantastic. And I keep saying to the lads that wouldn't it be fantastic for the season if we can keep those crowds coming, stay up on top, and the crowds will keep coming. As a player, do you want to be playing in front of 4,500, 5,500 people at your home games, or do you want to be playing in front of 1,500 people? You know what I mean? So for us, if we can keep that going, and the atmosphere has been electric, and the second half against Drogheda last week, and the goals and coming off afterwards, it was absolutely tremendous. You know what I mean? And look, at long may it continue if we stay up near the top. I'm sure the crowds will keep coming in, but we need them. We need them every week. We need sport to come every week. We need that vocal, that ferocity, because you can see even against Drogheda in the second half when the pressure came on, when it was 1-1, the crowd sensed it was a tight match. We came right behind us. We got the second goal, and you could nearly see that Drogheda began to backtrack. Then we got the third goal, and there's no doubt that the crowd have played a huge part, and long may it continue.
It was a quirky thing from yesterday. I don't expect you to comment, but there was 4,420 in Turner's Cross on Friday night, and it was exactly 10% was the official attendance yesterday. UCD 442, just extraordinary.
It was,
and 280 of them were from Cork.
It was, but look, at the end of the day, the one thing about yesterday, we knew exactly where we were going to, and we knew our record wasn't good there. And I suppose at the end of the day, going to UCD that we are probably going to have the guts of 300 people following us, which is going to be the majority. Unfortunately for UCD, they don't have a following. And I know they've tried everything in their power to get people, to students to follow them, whatever, but it just has never happened for them, which is very, very disappointing for them. But we knew what we were going into, and it's probably probably the one ground that's going to have the smallest attendance. But at the same time, it's been a bogey ground for us. The club haven't won there for a long time, and we had discussed it. But at the same time, we went up there, we went for 3 points. We got the 3 points. It was difficult down to 10 men, but we got the 3 points, and it keeps us up there.
And a bit of red mist by down in the half-hour mark.
It was, I think, to be fair to him, we had a bit of a chat with him yesterday, and I think it probably looked worse than it actually was. But he actually said he said when he knocked the ball, Morrison knocked the ball, he said he thought he was going to get toe poked away. And he says his quick feet just did him, and then it looked a clumsy challenge. And look at it in hindsight, we watched Jester even coming back last night in the bus, and he saw it, and he realised that it was it was a stupid challenge, and getting the red card put us under pressure, and we don't want to concede red cards. And I'm being sort of, the lads know how, I suppose, how tough I am, that we need to hold our discipline, we need to be very disciplined and to be fair this season. Like, I think the first game of the season, Johnny was just unlucky. You know what I mean? I think in another day that wouldn't have happened. But, you know, yesterday, to be fair, when Darren looked at the red card, he probably had to get it. You know, but at the same time, I keep saying is that, once he learns from it, he had one or two last year, and we don't want a situation where we get people sent off. We can't afford that, because if you want to stay at the top of the table, you need to be able to choose from all your best players.
Having said that, John, obviously he's going to miss one game at least, possibly two, but I mean, you have options, and you're happy enough with the cover you have.
Well, I keep saying, I prefer to have everyone available. You know what I mean? I prefer that headache to give you the option to pick, your team. Obviously, Darren is out for Friday night. Darren Murphy is also going to be out for Friday night because he hurt he took a heavy knock and his hamstring is very tight. But yes, to be fair, Johnny slotted in there, so it wasn't a situation where we were throwing someone in that hadn't played it before. Actually, in all our pre-season, we played Johnny in lots of games in that position, and obviously against Sligo, Johnny had played there, and he did exceptionally well yesterday. So Johnny is well used to that position. He reads the game well. He's very quick. You know what I mean? And he's a good partner for Dan. So it hasn't, from that point of view, we have a guy that can go straight into that position. I suppose it just means that we have to juggle the full-backs around again. Yeah.
Any hopes of Colin being back Friday night?
Yeah, well, he's very close. We've had him on the bench yesterday. We had him on the bench Friday night. Medical opinion was that he's 90% there. We put him on the bench with the option that we might have brought him on for half an hour to go. But to be fair, in both matches we decided not to do that. And so I think on Friday night he'll be thereabouts. To be fair, we have young Dave O'Leary, who came in last week at half time, was superb against Limerick, or against Drogheda. Sorry, played really, really well, worked really, really hard, and was probably a bit unlucky he didn't come on yesterday, but at the same time, as I keep saying, he missed the pre-season. He's getting his fitness has been quite good. He's been working very hard, and the second half performance against Drogheda was very good. So again, it's great to have Dave, because he's a guy that really should be featuring in the team, and I think he's a big plus for us going forward.
And an opportunity maybe, I know it's early days yet, for Erla Devlin on Friday.
Yeah,
he's a full-back.
Yeah, absolutely. And Erla, again, I keep saying, a lovely fella, has mixed in fantastically with the group since he's come down and whatever. The biggest problem, I suppose, is that because he's missed the pre-season, and while I was unfair to play him against Sligo because it was a very hard game to start off, you're in 2.5 months of your season gone by. You can't beat matches, and it's very hard at times for guys coming in. So he's been training very hard. He's trying to get up to the speed, but it's that catch-22 when you don't have a reserve team. You know what I mean? When you have these lads who aren't getting games, it's a catch-22. And you look at it, it's probably the huge advantage that Shamrock Rovers have, the fact that they're playing every week in the first division. It's fantastic for them to have that facility. Imagine if we had that we could play 3 or 4 of our players every week, and you'd have these guys that would get up their match sharpness. So, look at Early's training very hard, and certainly he's going to be in contention on Friday.
The under-19 double winning team again. Well, they won one trophy this year, but they're kind of in limbo at the moment. Some of them are being brought into the senior squad, but some of them are kind of lost to football in a way. What you said there about the reserve league, is it time the FAI kind of maybe introduce an under-21 league?
Well,
it's at that age, or at a crucial time in their development.
It is, and it's a huge problem for us. And I suppose people look at the option, and it's been spoken about that, would the Munster Senior League be an option for us to try and get into? It possibly would. However, the Munster Senior League isn't the answer for us in the long term, simply because you can't play professional players. So even if you're in, to be fair, even if we asked the Munster Senior, could we get in, any of the fellas that are on the bench at the moment, you can't play them. So still, it's not helping your situation. The ideal situation for us is either that there's an under-20-21 league, or we try to get into the first division. And it looks as if the rumblings out there is that the FAI are looking at maybe teams putting their second team into the first division, expanding the first division, and if that's the way it is, I think that's the way we should go. Now the problem for us is that the cost factor is huge. Where when you're from Dublin, it's easier, but for us the cost factor. But certainly, in my opinion, I would love if we could get into the first division, because I think it would be the answer to all our problems. It would allow us to play all our subs on the Saturday, and also it would allow us to keep our 19s when their season's finished, to give them games.
The natural progression between the age groups.
Great, you would have natural progression, and plus the fact that if we were in that division as well, we probably would attract probably 300 or 400 people to our home games. Which I think, because people would be interested to see how the other lads get on. But for me, it's if I had my choice and if it's possible, I think that's exactly where we should try and get to.
To confirm your point about match fitness as opposed to physical fitness, Anthony Elding is a case in point. You gave him 45 minutes on Friday night. He just didn't have the match touch in the way of playing than most people.
Yeah.
And the change.
Yeah.
Really won the game, swung the game and won the game.
Yeah, and you see, exactly what you're saying there. You can train as hard as you want. You can do your running, your sharp stuff, whatever. But you're in the season where maybe the first couple of games of the season, players are getting their touch in and getting used to it. After coming out of pre-season. But you're 10 games in. There's no excuse to know. You need guys to hit the ground running. And just a typical case where Anthony had trained quite well for the previous 2 weeks on the training pitch, but you could see his touch wasn't there, and it just showed you the intensity of the game, that he just found it impossible to get into.
But he obviously comes back in contention for Friday night
Correct,
among the Bows.
Yes, yeah. The situation was we had a discussion, and he trained Saturday, trained very hard Sunday. We felt yesterday that we did let the training program with him, so rather than put him on a bus to Dublin where he wasn't going to be used, we felt he to keep him trained. So he's been training this morning as well, so he'll come back in contention on Friday.
And they're coming off 3 defeats
on
the bounce, but I suppose they've got one of the greatest finishers, present company accepted, that we've ever seen in the league, in Jason Byrne. I think they only played him as a sub yesterday, so they're obviously keeping him for Friday night.
Yeah, and I think you see the thing with Jason, a superb sniffer. You could see Fabio O'Brien last Friday night.
Brilliant.
Walk great, clever, great running, whatever. Jason has that. He's getting old, but still in around the box. He's a great finisher. Look at that. You look at Bowes, Owen Heary, good manager, young guy coming through, knows Bowes inside out. He's built a strong side, and they've a lot of experience. They've Dean Delaney in goal, who's been in the league a long time. Aidan Price centre back, has been around a lot. They have Dave Mulcahy in the middle of the park, Jason up front. Then they've lad Denny Cochran, who's come through from UCD, who's getting them a lot of goals. So they've a good solid start. But it's the type of league where, every game you have to be on form. If you're not, you lose the points. They had Sligo at the weekend. They lost 2-0 yesterday. Sligo scored 2 goals in the last 12 minutes. So it was a very, very tight match. So, and Bowes always Bowes are a big club, and they're always a decent side. And again, I keep saying it's we must perform at our highest level. If we do, I believe we win the 3 points. If you don't, then you drop points. And I keep saying we can't afford to drop points. We have to stay in there at the moment.
We've all been raving about Brian Linehan, John Kavanagh, Gary Buckley in particular. But we were talking about old fellas there. What about this fella here on your right hand, who's come into the league this season and been phenomenal by anybody stretches your imagination?
Yeah, I think Mark has been fantastic, and it just shows you age doesn't mean anything once you have the fitness level and the attitude to do it. And I suppose, it's a situation probably for Mark. He realises that his real opportunity has come now. Rightly or wrongly, he didn't get a chance before. You know what I mean? I never had a doubt that he wouldn't do well. John Cotter never had a doubt, and he's proven how good he is. And I just feel that he's grabbed his opportunity, and I'm convinced that over the next 4 or 5 seasons he can have a tremendous League of Ireland career while it is late. At the same time, I think he realises is that he did everything in amateur football. He won loads of Intermediate Cup medals. He's won loads of Munster League medals. He's played with the Irish amateur team, and he knows the standard this is the highest standard. But he's adapted, and he's been fantastic, and he's grabbed the opportunity. So it just proves that if you have the ability, and no matter what age you are, and you have that fitness with the right attitude, you're never too old. And still at the same time, Mark is certainly. You look at Jason Byrne, Fabio O'Brien, they're into 36. When I played, Pat Morley played, guys of that vintage, 35, 36 guys got to once you look after yourself. So Mark certainly has at least 5 seasons if he keeps his feet on the ground. And but most importantly for us is that his work rate has been phenomenal. His attitude has been fantastic, and everything he's done hasn't surprised me, to be honest with you. I know it's surprised a lot of people, hasn't surprised me, and I think the league are realising, despite the fact that the young lad had took a bit of criticism from certain people, I think people in the league realise this guy's a serious operator. You know what I mean? And I believe for the rest of the season, and by the end of the season, he'll prove that he's one of the top strikers in the league.
And he's getting brilliant goals as well, like the one yesterday.
Well, I'm not going to get involved between himself and Billy over that one, but certainly if I was Billy, I'd be claiming, and I suppose being a striker myself, if I was Mark, I'd be claiming as well, but look, at the end of the day, as I keep saying, the atmosphere in the squad, the spirit in the squad is fantastic. Mark and Billy get on, get on brilliant. At the end of the day, while the banter is there, the bottom line is they just wanted to get the 3 points, so it doesn't matter. And that's the beauty about the team we have. There are no egos. You know what I mean? There aren't guys that are, would be arguing over something. The bus coming home last night was happy. The lads got the 3 points. It didn't matter who it hit off. Didn't matter who took the shot. The bottom line, we're coming home with 3 points. We're still top of the table, and it was a great spirit and atmosphere in the coach coming home.
He actually said that after the game. We pointed out to him that the TV people said it hit Mark last, and he said, "Look, it doesn't matter who scores at the end of the day. We got 3 points, and that must be fantastic for you and the backroom staff and the club in general."
Absolutely, because I can assure you, and I've been in teams and squads where that wouldn't be the case, and you have people fighting over this and fighting over that. I can assure you, I've seen it, and it's horrible. But there is, and so the likes of Billy wasn't saying that, just as a statement. He actually meant it, and that is the case. And you can see in training every day that these lads really want to do well, and you can see the bond. You can see when they score. You can see when they celebrate. They are genuinely decent guys. They genuinely to do things right. So a point in case, or case in point that
we can cut that.
You can cut that, yeah. But you can just see that goal. It didn't matter once we won the match, and it didn't matter who scored.
True.
And overall, kind of near the end of the first series of games, are you happy with where the side are at in the table?
Well, I am happy.
Performance-wise,
I am, of course. Look at. When we came in, we took the job, and John came with me, and obviously Phil came in, and Billy had been there. We knew massive amount of work to be done. There is still a massive amount of work. I know the expectation. Now we've gone to a different level, because all of a sudden everyone is thinking, "Oh God, can you win this? Can you win that?" What we had to do was make sure that we turned the team around and the club around into being very competitive, and to play in front of big crowds. And the early indications have been fantastic. We've done that, and we've worked really hard to do that. But at the end of the day, it's the players that have done it, and they've brought into the real hard work ethic that we insist on. And as we keep saying, if they keep doing that, we are well capable of staying in the top 4. That's the way I look at it. And of course, I'm happy because they've been a pleasure of a group of guys to turn up every morning, to see them, the attitude, the way they go about their stuff. It's been, I have to say, it's been, as a manager, it's been absolutely a pleasure for me to go in every morning and deal with these lads. And look at, I keep saying, if we keep our feet in the ground, we're well capable of staying in the top 4.
What you rightly pointed on, whether it was last week, John, or the week before, you said coming up to the end of the first series of games, like things would settle down, the gap would develop, and that seems to be happening already. Dundalk and ourselves have 20, Pats of 18, Rovers of 17. Then you have a gap.
Yes.
So Drogheda with 12. There's 12 2-11s, 2-10, a 10 and 2 9s.
Yeah.
I know Mick Cook has cut adrift, unfortunately, at the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
But that pattern is.
Yeah, and I suppose when you look at it, that happens every year, and you could see that the split happens. So the next couple of weeks are crucial for us, because you can see the split has started, and over the next 3-4 games, the split's just going to get bigger. And for us, we must hang in there. You know what I mean? Because
The bigger games don't come in as well.
and there are bigger games, but you just must hang in there because you have a split setting up, and you probably have Sligo that are going on a run that'll probably try and get back into the mix. But you are right. There's no doubt of the next 3 or 4 games. If we can hang into the break, the split's going to happen. It's going to get bigger, and if we stay in there, you know what I mean. You're certainly, in my opinion, then if you can stay in that top 4, 5, you're then within a shout of qualifying for Europe. And look, that would be a tremendous achievement for us, but there's a long way to go because, you know, people say you'll come across periods where you lose a few players, you'll go through a rocky patch. You know, that will happen, may happen, how you bounce back. But look, I keep saying the character is tremendous in the team, and you know, feet on the ground, good work ethic. We're well capable of staying in the top 4, in my opinion.
And I suppose the judgment of the mettle of the side will be maybe when the first defeat comes.
Well, we haven't discussed. As I keep saying, no, I don't mean that, but I mean sort of in the sense that, like, the most important game to us is Friday night. You know, we started off last week. People are saying you had 3 games coming up in a row and had you to take the points. I never looked at 3 games. The most important game was Drogheda. Then there's UCD. And I keep saying when you start looking ahead and looking at games coming up too far ahead, you lose your focus. We've no reason to be focused on anyone else but Bohemians, because it's the same 3 points in offer, and it's a huge game for us. And I believe when teams or managers start looking too far ahead, that's where their problems happen. So look, we're on a great run. The attitude is fantastic. We are still unbeaten, which is great, and a credit to the lads. And we have an opportunity Friday night that if we play to our best, I think we'll win. But if we don't play well, you know what I mean, there's danger of drop points, and really we can't really afford to drop points at home.
So, how are you finding the full-time training?
It was tough enough at the start, but I'm getting a bit used to it now. So it's okay.
What do you think of the standard in the league? I mean, you're playing against very experienced players now.
Every game is very tough, like.
Fellas who've been around for years, and fellas come home from England.
Yeah.
I know UCD were a young student side yesterday, but
yeah, they were good side, good passers.
And you've adapted very well to the system. You're playing up on your own with Billy and Liam coming through on the sides.
I got great help from them, and then Gary Buckley's always near me as well.
He's making those late runs into the box, yeah.
No, we'll track him come.
And some of the other players like Colin Haley and Dan Murray have been good here, like from the point of view of bringing in to the group and all that.
Yeah, very nice, yeah. Very helpful.
And on the training ground they'll be beneficial.
Yeah.
They're helping along the way, aren't they?
So I presume you hope to stay in the team even when all these strikers we have come back, Danny and Mike Rafter and Anthony Elding.
I suppose, yeah.
Not up to you, I suppose.
Yeah, up to me.
Or the manager said just he wouldn't be the player to be dropped.
So he said that, gee.
Are you happy with the decision? You
I was.
Working away.
It was tough at the start. It was tough at the start, like.
Yeah, but are you happy with the decision, or did you decide to take a break from work and concentrate solely and put all your focus into being a professional footballer?
I know it's a bit late, don't know, but
I
was younger, like.
What's better late than never, yeah?
I suppose, yeah.
The way you're playing, you could be playing at 45. You started at 31, for God's sake.
30.
30, oh sorry. Another mistake.
Oh,
like when you won everything as well.
Yeah.
You captain when the Regions Cup came and all this, so like at that level, there was nothing more on offer really, was there?
No.
What were the highlights from that level of football, or some of the Intermediate Cup?
Intermediate Cups. So I was playing for Ireland, my first game against San Marino.
San Marino, was it? Yeah. When was that, Mark?
2006.
Was your first cap?
Yeah, June 2006.
And the 3 Intermediate Cups on the bunks, then with Avondale as well.
Yeah.
And 3 being your Stoke Premier Divisions as well, wasn't it?
4 of them, I think. 2 in a row, and then another 2 in a row.
How was it? All right.
You must say in a league.
Yeah.
You were player of the year as well. We won 2 of those seasons.
2011.
2011.
And like, do you think that there's other players in the Munster Senior League now that would be able to step up into the League of Ireland?
Say no.
I suppose, I don't know. I suppose it could be like.
Not to say that way that you did now, like you. So you seem like you're saying like it's like you're playing there for years, like, you know.
Yeah. I played with John for years. That's why.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
he taught me everything, John.
That's the key to the locker.
It's the key to staying in the team now. Keep going.
Keep talking.
Tell me this is
You
your
get me
third
straight.
time coming to Cork City. Is your third time lucky you
Well,
actually?
it's really my second.
It's your third.
Well, I had a trial twice with
Yeah.
Richardson.
Enrico, I know you're back and you're in the team,
Yeah.
so like it's third time lucky from that point of view. But
Yeah, I think so.
what do you think is different this time? Is it the way you were treated and John's influence on you?
John is able to handle me. So.
Yeah.